Hello, flat earthers of the world. There's a lot of controversies regarding solar eclipse on August 21st, 2017 that leads to the ultimate question, is the heliocentric model correct or wrong? In this short video, collaborating with Sugianto Sulistiono, a professional doctorate majoring in computer physics, and Najwa Azahra, a medical doctor, founder of Indonesian Flat Earth Community, we will use all scientific data to study the Great American Eclipse. The conclusions are quite devastating. The speed is deceiving, the angle is wrong, the path is impossible, and the moon's diameter is wrong.
Satellite, satellite, -10. Twilight, twilight.
I feel the moon pulling me away.
We all know that the sun and the moon both rise in the east and set in the west. In your flat earth, what you see is what you get. The sun and the moon are moving clockwise from east to west.
What I can do.
As you know, in our flat earth, if you are facing north, wherever you are, your left is the west and your right is the east. Therefore, if you fly straight from west to east, you will come back to your starting point.
Satellite, satellite, launch.
And so do the sun and the moon. The other fact is, if a source of light moving in one direction passes an object, the shadow will always move in opposite direction. So, as the sun and the moon are moving from east to west, and the sun passes the moon, the shadow is moving in opposite direction, from west to east, exactly like reality. Cause in our flat earth, what you see is what you get. Now, in the globe model, in order to make the sun and the moon rise in the east, set in the west, they have to make the globe model rotate from west to east. In this way, the east side of the earth encounters the sun earlier than the west side of the earth. Most of the time, the globe model can accommodate almost everything from flat earth reality, projected in different shapes, different sizes, different distances, and different speeds. It's only mathematical assumptions. They calculated one by one, gradually and individually within thousands of years. It's all started 2,300 years ago when Aristarchus calculated the size and distance of the moon using eclipses based on assumptions if the earth was a ball. From that assumptions, he calculated the size and distance of the sun. Then people adapted his method and assumptions to calculate the whole solar system, then the whole galaxy, and so on and so on. Assumptions upon assumptions. But sometimes, when a bunch of mathematical assumptions mix together to explain rare cases like solar eclipse, they just don't add up. Many people argue whether the globe model can make eclipse shadow from west to east or not. Let's make it clear once and for all. If we put all the data on the table transparently, in a way that everyone can understand, measure, and verify themselves, the answer is yes and no. Yes if and but no. Now the yes if first. Yes, eclipse shadow on the globe model can move from west to east only if Moon's orbital speed is faster than Earth's rotation speed. In heliocentric model, the Moon's orbital speed is twice as fast as the Earth's rotation speed. With this paradigm, for sure, the shadow will move from west to east. Let's make a model to make it easier to understand. The distance is not to scale. The moon should be 30 Earth diameter away. If the Earth rotates 1,670 kilometers in 1 hour to your right, and the moon orbits 3,683 kilometers to your right too, then you draw a straight line from moon's diameter to the Earth. You will see the moon's line is farther than the Earth's line. But of course, 3,683 kilometers is farther than 1,670 kilometers. You don't even need a model to understand. This is called linear speed. In this way, the eclipse shadow moves from west to east because the moon is faster than the Earth. It's mathematically correct based on that assumptions and paradigm. But there's a big problem. It defies natural fact. If the moon is faster than the Earth's rotation, you would see the moon is setting to the east, the opposite of reality. Let's use mooncalc.org to make it easier. Find a place that has 90-degree elevation of the moon. Imagine the Earth is moving 1,670 km per hour, west to east to your right, and the moon is moving 3,683 km per hour to the same direction. Within 1 hour, you would see the moon is more to your right, because it's faster and travels more distance than the Earth, right? Wrong! See what happens if you add time for 1 hour. Ooh, the moon is going to your left, because the Earth is rotating faster. How come 1,670 km per hour travels faster than 3,683 km per hour? It's because the distance traveled by the moon is 60 times longer than Earth's circumference. Now we're talking about the other kind of speed, the angular speed. Take bicycle wheel as an example of angular speed. The farthest part from the axis, the tire is moving faster than the axis, but actually it's the same angular speed. The farther from the axis, the faster it moves, but actually the same angular speed. Now, the Earth is rotating 360 degrees in 24 hours. It means 15 degrees per hour. If the Earth is moving 15 degrees counterclockwise to your right, and according to heliocentrism, the Sun is at rest, then you will see the Sun appears to be setting 15 degrees to your left. That's the angular speed of the Sun due to Earth's rotation. Okay? While the Moon is orbiting the Earth 360 degrees in 29.5 days. Some people like to say 27.3 days, sidereal month, the Moon's position with respect to the stars. It's irrelevant, for we are counting the Moon's position with respect to the Earth, nothing to do with the stars. So we have to use synodic month, average 29.5 days. The angular speed of Moon's orbit is 1 per 24 hours divided by 29.5 days times 360 degrees equals to 0.51 degree per hour. That means when the Earth in an hour is rotating 15 degrees to your right, making the Sun appears to be setting to your left 15 degrees. The Moon is moving 0.51 degree to your right. That makes the Moon appears to be slower than the Earth's rotation. Let's go back to mooncalc.org. The Moon's elevation angle is 90 degrees. Then change the time to 1 hour later. Now you see the elevation is subtracted to 75.81 degree. 75 degree because the Earth is rotating 15 degree from previous 90 degree elevation. 0.81 degree is the Moon's traveling distance in 1 hour. Mooncalc is using different moon distance on that day. Or perhaps they're using sidereal month. It's all mathematical assumptions. They don't even look to the sky. The Moon moves 0.5 degree against the Earth moves 15 degrees per hour. With these assumptions and paradigm, for sure, the eclipse shadow moves from east to west, the opposite of reality. So which one applies to the Moon and the Earth's speeds that creates eclipse shadow? Linear speed or angular speed? They will say it's the linear speed that matters.
The Moon is orbiting about twice as fast as the Earth is spinning. So if we're looking down on the Earth and we're at the Moon, we see the Earth spinning, but the Moon is moving faster.
Wrong. Even if you're at the Moon, in 1 hour, you would see the Earth is setting 0.51 degree to your left, while it's rotating 15 degrees to your right. Even if you're looking from the Moon, the Earth's rotation is still faster. That means eclipse shadow in the globe model goes from east to west, the opposite of reality. Perhaps other people would say, oh, the Moon is slower than the Earth, but the shadow moves faster. That makes the shadow moves from west to east. Well, this sounds plausible in theory, but if you put the data, it's not correct. The Sun is 400 times bigger than the Moon. The Moon's traveling distance for 5 hours is just like a dot to the heliocentric Sun. If the Moon moves in 5 hours, 18,415 kilometers, it only makes 0.006989959 degree difference. If the Moon moves 18,415 kilometers to the right side of the Sun, The shadow's distance on Earth is 18,460 kilometers, almost the same with the distance traveled by the Moon. Science says eclipse shadow moves at the same speed with the Moon, and the eclipse shadow path is the same length with the distance traveled by the Moon. So, if someone says the Moon is slower than the Earth but the shadow moves faster to make shadow from west to east, it's debunked by their own science. Another possibility, other people would say the Earth is also orbiting the Sun. That makes the shadow moves from west to east. Again, a plausible theory if you don't do the math. How come the Earth that's rotating 1,670 kilometers to your right and the Moon is 384,000 kilometers away, orbiting the Earth at 3,683 kilometers per hour, and the Sun is 149.6 million kilometers from the Earth, while the Earth is orbiting the Sun at 110,000 kilometers per hour. It's almost 100 times faster than the speed of sound. Plus, the Sun is also moving at 72,000 kilometers per hour, almost 60 times faster than the speed of sound, can create eclipse shadow 18,415 kilometers on Earth within 5 hours. Do the math, do it yourself. They never include the Earth's orbit in calculating eclipses because they assume the Moon is always attached with the Earth wherever it goes. In most solar system animations that you usually see, the Sun is at rest. This is heliocentric. The Sun is the center of the universe. But later, they knew it's impossible. They say the Sun is also moving at 72,000 kilometers per hour across the space. Another mathematical assumptions on paper without experiment. They never put them all together when calculating eclipses. This is very important information. Most people think that NASA can predict eclipses accurately, that they have very advanced knowledge. Therefore, it proves that heliocentric is true. Unfortunately, that's not the case. All eclipse predictions provided by NASA, including this 5 millennium, 5,000 years of eclipses, are using Saros cycle invented by ancient Babylonians thousands of years ago. Both solar and lunar eclipses are so predictable because they always repeat in a cycle of 18 years, 11 days and 8 hours. It's called Saros cycle and it has nothing to do with heliocentric. Ancient Babylonians believed the Earth is flat, the Sun and the Moon are revolving around the Earth, and so do the stars and other celestial bodies. They didn't calculate the distances, sizes and speeds based on false assumptions and speculations like heliocentric teachings. They simply observed the sky and took whatever it is. With that paradigm, they can predict eclipses accurately. Such predictions are impossible to be done using heliocentric model. In its 5 millennium catalog of solar and lunar eclipses, NASA wrote that all eclipse calculations are by Fred Espenach, a retired NASA's employee. NASA never calculated and predicted eclipses using heliocentric model. They simply hired the best Saros researcher, their retired employee, Fred Espenach, to calculate and predict eclipses using ancient Babylonians method that has nothing to do with heliocentric. NASA even wrote that Fred Espenach is responsible for the accuracy of those 5,000 years catalog of eclipses. For thousands of years, some astronomers collected eclipse cycle all around the world based on Saros cycle. They have started to do this long time before NASA was established in 1958. Astronomers like Fred Espenach simply collected eclipse database from other local astronomers all around the world. As you see in this table, it's made by other astronomer G. Vandenberg in 1955. That's what Fred Espenach did. He is a very good Saros researcher. Why would NASA need Saros cycle if they can calculate eclipses using heliocentric math? Obviously, because they can't. A bunch of mathematical assumptions when combined together to calculate eclipses, they just don't add up. There's an interesting review from Matt Parker from Stand Up Math's channel. He's the only person who got prestigious title as London Mathematical Society Popular Lecturer, a very smart and articulative mathematician. Here's what he said about predicting eclipses using heliocentric math.
And so I'm going to show you the mathematics behind how we can predict when they're going to happen. We can do the calculations on the elliptical orbit of the Moon as the Earth goes around the Sun, and we can calculate how often the moon goes between the sun and the earth. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. It is a wonder we have eclipses at all. But then, out of all this chaos, another cosmic coincidence steps forward to save the day. It's called the Saros cycle, and it allows us to predict when eclipses are going to happen in the reasonably near future.
Some thickheads still don't understand why NASA uses Saros cycle to predict eclipses. They say there are a lot of software predicting eclipses using heliocentric math. You can download free software like Stellario. It can predict eclipses. Well, if a free software can predict eclipses with heliocentric model, then why NASA, with $19 billion budget per year, can predict eclipses using heliocentric model? Which one makes more sense to you? All astronomy software are using Eclipse database from NASA. It's not the other way around. After NASA published this 5 millennium catalog of solar and lunar eclipses, people use the database to make animation using whatever model they want. Just put one eclipse time to another. The software will automatically adjust to make those two eclipses happen as programmed. It's not the other way around. After you get Eclipse database, you can make animation with square Earth if you like. You can put whatever distance, whatever size. The software will adjust in accordance to the eclipse dates. Some thickheads even try to run from reality by saying NASA provides a software in its website to predict eclipses. Look at this database used by NASA. 5,000 years catalog of solar eclipse database. You can choose what year, what eclipse type, duration, and oops, it's Saros cycle, not heliocentric math. This is the 3D movement of their heliocentric model. The sizes, distances, and speeds are not to scale. This is just to make you have an idea of the true heliocentric concept. The question is, how could NASA 48 years ago kept up with the Earth's orbital speed, almost 100 times faster than the speed of sound, and also kept up with the sun speed across the space at almost 60 times faster than the speed of sound? That's just a warming up. In the next section, you will see scientific facts based on official data that eclipse in the globe model is a real fantasy. Scientific data that everybody can verify and do experiment themselves as referred to as scientific method. With this official data, you will get the undebunkable result that eclipses completely fail to work on the globe model. The data is always there all the time. You just didn't realize what it means.
Trying to free your mind, Neo. But I can only show